Alright, in this video I'm going to be talking about creating FK and FK animation using a joint system and using the dope sheet to create what's called offset. I'm going to offset my keyframes in order to create a little bit different movement, a little bit more interesting motion than just having my basic three keys and then kind of having everything moving at once. I want to create this overlapping action where things are happening at different times and that it gets just a better quality of motion. So let's look and see what that means. So right now I have my simple chain here, and what I want to create is this sense of a fluid type of movement like a seaweed or maybe wings flapping and something flowing in a surface, okay? And so with FK we can get that really nicely. I'm going to animate and set keys on each joint in my chain, and then I'm going to offset those using what's called the dope sheet. The dope sheet is located up here in the animation editors under dope sheet, and the dope sheet is also this is the same as the exposure sheet in traditional animation. The exposure sheet was used to lay out every single frame of animation so that you knew exactly what you were doing. You could translate what you were doing to many people because it would be very clear what you were doing, what motion, what action was happening. You could even have on there your cameras, camera movements, the layers of the cells on the camera stand, and all that sort of thing. There's a ton of information in there. In 3D animation, it doesn't seem to be utilized quite as much, but we can use it in this way for creating offset for this kind of thing that we're going to be doing. So the first thing I want to do is set keyframes on these joints here, on their rotation values. And I want to be thinking about shape. The shape of my pose. In this particular case, I want to get a flowing kind of shape out of this. This is called a C curve, and I'm going to make a reverse C curve, and then it's going to go back to this C curve. So my first and my middle and my last my first and my last curves are going to be the same, and my middle curve is going to be the extreme. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to set my rotation values on these guys, and I'm going to just go down the chains and set them over here. I'm going to start at my root. I'm going to go down and keyframe my rotate Z. Then I'm going to go up using my arrow key in my on my keypad to move transverse the skeleton, and then just go in and lay down or key in my my rotation values. Now, what's cool about this is that I can quickly go back and grab all of these guys, go down to my frame 1 like I am, take my time slider to frame 1 and go right click, copy, and move to, I'm going to have this start in 30 frames, and I can then paste all of those keys at frame 30. Notice that all my joints now have no change in the timeline, but I have keys at the beginning and end. So now I'm just going to go back to frame 15, and I'm going to remake my new shape. So I'm going down to my joint, my root joint, and I'm going to create my extreme here. I'm going to put in some curve. I don't want too much. I'm going to make sure I didn't change it in Y any. Looks like I might have accidentally tweaked it in Y a bit. I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to give it a little shape like that. I'm going to transverse the geometry and shape this. Remember, this is going to be my C shape, so I'm going to quickly just put in a shape here that I like, and I'll go back through my This is a little straight for me, so I'm going to go back and put a little bit more of a curve in it. There we go. So if I was to look at this, I'd have that, and then it goes back to here, which is just what I want. Now, one of the things I want to do now that I have my keyframes is that instead of having, watch, if I, oops, I want to make sure I don't move that. I'm going to go back to my selection tool. I'm going to grab this, 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 and this. Notice that all of my keys are in the exact same place, and that's how I start, but that's not how I want to end, because I don't want everything to just be robotically moving in the exact same time. I want to create what's called offset, and one of the ways I could do it is I could go here and I could offset, grab these keys, use my select W, hold down shift, and move things so many units that way. I could do it by doing that, and that gives me some pretty cool looking stuff. But that's not how I'm going to do this. I want to show you that you can grab all of these keys and a little less, without as much information here, kind of, in what's called the dope sheet. So I'm going to bring it up. Remember I said Windows, Animation Editors, Dope Sheet. If I bring that up, I have this dope sheet here. Notice that it has the names of the roots right here. My joints, not the name of the roots, the names of the joints. One of them is root. And it also has what's called the dope sheet summary, which is kind of a overview of everything else in kind of a overarching kind of way. Since everything's lined up exactly the same and they're not out of sequence like now they are, you can see that this top line represents every single frame all superimposed on one another, and this is joint by joint by joint, which is what I want to work with. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we can manipulate things here in the dope sheet. So I can move them around in a way that allows kind of as a group. So let me show you something. If I took all my keys, much like if I had them all selected here, and I use the W, I press W on my keyboard, and I middle mouse, I can actually move them in time. See how I'm moving them? Here's my timeline, and I can move them about in time. I can also scale them. If I hit R, I can use my middle mouse and I can scale them up. I guess I have to use my left mouse, and I can scale them out. Look at the difference of what's happening. Okay, so with that kind of thing in mind, what I want to do is I want to start by grabbing my joints 2, 3, and base. Those are the ones that have keys on them, and I want to move them or offset them in a little bit. I'm going to expand my timeline or my view here to get a little closer, since I know I'm holding them all at the same time. What I want to do is I'm going to hit W so I can move them. Hit it using my middle mouse button. I'm going to offset them by 5 frames or so. Just the first, and just joints 2, 3, and the bait tip. Then I'm going to release joint out of that group, and then I'm going to move these over 5. And right now I'm just kind of guessing the spacing here. I just want to see what that looks like. But by doing that, I moved everything over 5. What I want to try to get, now I'm probably going to have to move in my timeline. Now notice the movement that has been created from this motion. It's a little less extreme, but you can see that it's flowing back and forth like this. I'm getting this nice overlapping action. Now with this, I might want to exaggerate my beginning and my end keys for my root layer. So instead of it being right here, I might want to increase that. I want to select the ones that I want. use my W key to move, and I want to move discretely in only only in the attribute values. So I'm going to hold down, I'm going to select W and hold down Shift, and notice that I'll get a little arrow with a question mark saying which way do you want to go, and I'm going to move up, and it's going to allow me to move up a little bit. I'm going to keep going up. See what kind of there we go, getting a much broader wave now. Now my second joint, joint number 2, I'm thinking I want to increase its sway as well. So when I get here, I'm thinking I want to broaden that, and actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I need to increase this one as well. So I'm going to go in and tweak that a little bit. I want more of a bend. Oops, I'm moving in the wrong way. Go up. In those joints on this end of it. Whoa, look at that. Look how crazy that got. But that's okay. I can just back it off. That's the beauty of working with your curves and knowing how to manipulate your curves. Alright, so let's say that we love that. Let's say that it's fantastic. It's a little bit extreme there. I don't think I can live with that. I think I went a little too far on the route, but that's okay. That's what you're supposed to do, is push it and see what you can get out of it. If you're not happy with it, then just back it off a little bit. And that's why it's so nice working in the graph editor. So you can tweak things and make sure that you like the shapes. And I do tweak things quite a bit. So this one looks like it might be the one I want to back off. Oops, moving it in the wrong direction. Here we go. There we go. This nice flow. So this edge is a little intense. Alright. So let's say we want this to just cycle over and over and over and over again, back and forth. Actually, I think what I want to do is I want to slow this down a bit. And one of the nice things about using the dope sheet is that I can grab the entire thing like so, hit R for scale, and right now all this is happening at about slightly over a second. So I really want to extend this and maybe have it go over 90 seconds or so. So maybe this happens in 3 seconds. So if I have all my keys, I can sway that back and forth. I need to increase my range. Look at that. Alright, so now let's say that we have all of these, right? We've got all of our joints brought up. I'm going to look at what's called curves pre-infinity cycle, curves post-infinity cycle. I want to go view and say view infinity. And so what I'm hoping will happen is that this will just sway back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, over and over and over again. So if I had 500 frames here, it would just continue to do this cycle over and over and over and over and over again. And I have this nice overlapping action. Things aren't all happening at the same time. But I was able to do it relatively painlessly. again, I think what I'll do is I'll grab all these guys, and I might make this entire action. I might make the entire action root occur over maybe even longer. Maybe I'm going to go. Seems like it's really fast. So maybe oops, I don't want to move it. I want to scale it. Maybe I'll go a little bit longer. Maybe about 200 frames. I want to get right in there. I'm going to move this like I use my camera tools. I want to go right up to 200. I can grab this, snap it to about 200. Make sure I have things still at the beginning. Go back and look. Now we go. Look at that. Now it's starting to feel like seaweed or something swaying in the ocean. Alright, I like that. Alright, so using forward kinematics is good for things like your arms when you don't have to have them locked into a position, like if you were pushing on a block, or you have to keep them in a specific spot while the body is moving. But forward kinematics, this is going to be nice for doing wings and doing arms and hands and other things that you don't always have to have things specifically locked down to a specific spot while the body moves. Alright, so practice that. Practice using your dope sheet. Practice using this idea of offset keys. And we'll have some more fun animating.